Biggest thing on my mind since this weekend's fights, which I really enjoyed and had incredible storylines. Can't remember a time when more drama involved more fights and where we're going to go from here. Volkanovski, though, guys, that's the top of my mind. What do you do with Volkanovski next? Now, Volkanovski did so good that the articles praising him were articles about people who didn't have the words to give him correct praise. I share that. It was hard to believe what we were seeing. You have a fighter who's doing a rematch. By the way, he's the older fighter. He's never going to do better in the rematch. Don't talk to me about the outcome. I know he won the second fight. I'm not talking about outcome. I'm talking about performance. The older fighter is not going to perform better. He can hope for, and historically many times has gotten a push. So if Volkanovski has a confidence he can beat Max, this is this last fight over Saturday, if he has a confidence, it comes from the fact that he can do just as well this time as he did back in their second meeting in Abu Dhabi. To believe that you could do better and to have a final outcome that is 5-0, 5 rounds to none, versus the 3 rounds that you found the first time. Guys, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm doing the best I can here to tell you how amazing, how incredible, and how surprising Volkanovski's skill set was over the weekend. His own coach, you guys think I'm having a hard time with words here? Get a load of this. His own coach, Eugene Berriman. Do you want to know what his comment was when he was asked about Volkan? He did his absolute best. He did his absolute best to give praise publicly to his athlete. Do you want to know what Berriman said? That's what he said. He froze. He froze. And when he came to, he literally used the words, "I don't know how to comment. He looks so great." So what do we do with that, though? Is that enough? That's all you get? Wow. Maybe not. Generally in the sport, if you do a great job, whatever you do next is bigger. How do you define that? How do you find that and make sure that it can happen? Well, a lot of times you did a great job and it was against the number 5 guy. So next time it's going to be bigger because you're going to be in there with the number 4 guy. Simple as that. We're just going by the numbers. You did a really great job and you did it as a co-main event. And the next fight, we're going to put you out there, but you're going to be in a main event spot. Really simple. There's the promotion, if you will. There's your lifting moment and your reward. What do you do when you're Volkanovski? You're undefeated. You're champion of the world. Where do you put him next? Where do you put him next? Guys, and hear me out on this. Not just where do you put him next. Don't throw me a name. Where do you put him next that feels like an elevation? That feels as though it's a bigger moment, which he deserves, than every other fighter who did something so remarkable we can barely even find the rhetorical skills to speak on it. It's what all of them would have gotten. So what do you do with Volk? Look, Josh Emmett is a great answer in terms of who's earned it, in terms of some parity, in terms of the ranking, in terms of the right guy, not to mention the X's and O's of Josh Emmett and Volkanovski. Very compelling. If Volkanovski was given Josh Emmett, would you feel as though Volkanovski took a step backwards? Hard question, isn't it? And now you see where I'm going with this. So what do you do with him? What do you do with him next so that it feels like a step forward? It feels like a bigger moment. Not because he's getting the push, not because you want to try him, because the son of a bitch earned it. He earned something bigger, but he's already the champion. He earned something more. He's already making a bunch of money. What do you do? I think it's a tough spot. I think they're probably going to go the Emmett route. I think that Volkanovski is probably going to take a deep breath and say, I'm right where I want to be. 145 is mine. You got some fresh blood. I'm tired of this rematch business. I think you run off with Josh Emmett. But I don't think we've met our criteria. I feel as though perhaps it has gone down. And the only way to really go up in this spot is to take a real good look at 155 pounds, which we can't do. Volk is not one day going to get a call. Hey, you know what? We got a good idea, and we heard that you commented somewhere you'd like to go to 155 and fill in the blank. It doesn't work that way. He's going to have to hammer it. He's going to have to nail it. And I think what really is in Volk's heart is 155. I think that. I have no evidence. I'm just looking at him with the most basic rule of put myself in his position. How would I feel? And I think the champ, and I think the living of the division, I think all of the fresh parity, not to mention the challenges, the way it would look in the audience's mind, the perception, the motivation that would give him to go out and train. I think he really got his way. It would be at 55. Because of the reasons I just stated, which is something new. Guys, you know what? I don't think that Henry Cejudo ever had a reasonable chance to step in out of retirement and go against Volkanovski. I don't think he ever had that reasonable chance. I will just share with you simply the need and the allure, if you will, for a potential match with Henry versus Volkanovski is greater now than it was prior to Volk's incredible performance. And you want to know why? Because you feel that too. Do you want to know why you're feeling it? You want to know what that is? You got a big mouth bully. That's Cejudo. You got a big mouth bully. The one thing you want for the big mouth bully to have is a defeat. You want to see the big mouth get defeated, but you weren't sure that Volk could do it, were you? You weren't sure Henry wasn't going to step right in there and just outcompete him. Henry's such a competitor. Just find a way. You weren't sure. Maybe Henry, maybe Volk. Now you know. Now you know. Whether we're right or wrong, that's between those boys. I'm talking about how we feel. Now you know Volk can serve it to the bully. Volk can be the one to shut him up, to stop him. And that's why you're feeling a little bit more interested in that match. And by no means am I making a prediction for you for the way that's going to go. But as a community that wants to serve a guy, and we want to be fair, we recognize what you did. It was incredible. We want to give you something bigger. Hard spot when the guy's already the champ. Hard spot. So whatever Volk wants and whatever you guys want him to do, I would just encourage your time to speak is right now. And maybe I'm off. Maybe you do want to see Henry. I was only trying to prove the point that you're more wanting to see him. Maybe you're there. Maybe that's the guy. Maybe that's the guy that brings Volk all the attention and all of the bump and a main event status that you think he deserves. But whoever that guy is, and whatever division it is, this is not a problem that's going to solve itself as time goes by. Time brings you backwards in this situation. It brings you back to where we are right now, which is 145. Let's look who the top contender is. So if you've got a different thought, if you have a different opinion, speak now.